Is this for my car?
Yeah.
Or my airplane or my boat?
I'll put it on a yacht. Put it on.
This is my yacht.
I'll tell you what, I'll even come and put it on a yacht for you.
You guys borrow all three of them.
Yeah, right.
I can take this. This is for me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You want a bumper sticker too?
Back on at 10:48.
All right, in light of the county's position on seniority, we don't feel there's anything left to talk about there. So we're just going to basically end the bargaining session until such time you feel, unless you've, in your caucus, you got something different to discuss regarding seniority and having a counter proposal that's more along the lines of what our proposal was.
You don't even want to hear our new wage proposal,
No,
so
we
you know
don't.
what you're leaving
We don't
on
really
the
want to hear
table?
anything, to be quite honest. Anything other than the same thing we've been talking about for 5 years and reaching a meeting of the minds of something other than no union, we reject your proposal for seniority. So that's basically it. We're done for the day. Again, unless you have a counter proposal on seniority that has some sort of, semblance to what we're proposing. Do you have such a proposal?
I mean, again, we're willing to do the meetings. I mean, and that's, and I think that's where you guys want to head, is the meetings to determine what. The only thing we're not willing to do is, you're willing, we're willing to have the meeting and then do some language. You're saying, no, the language and then the meetings, and I think that's where we're apart, because we can't, be stuck, for lack of a better word, in a situation where it's unmanageable. And quite frankly, they're getting grievance after grievance after grievance up there, a lot of it related to the seniority, and we don't want to put ourselves in the same situation
Grievance after
because.
grievance after grievance up there,
Yeah.
are you talking about Hernando County?
Hernando County, yeah.
Okay, what
Yeah.
grievances are you pertaining to? You have
Well,
copies of them? I'd like to tell you all about them.
yeah, I'll get copies of them,
Okay,
yeah.
and I'll tell you about the grievances and how they're settled.
Okay, well, can I ask you a question then? So
Sure.
in a seniority grievance, okay?
Mhm.
So let's say that there's a list and it's only by seniority, and by the way, you'll have to agree that's the most expensive person on the payroll. Generally speaking, the hourly rate is a lot higher. But if that person doesn't get called, okay, inadvertently,
Which
whatever.
department,
Let me
what
finish,
application,
let me finish my.
what job title, Barbara, you're just making this general statement or general question, without having any sort of factual basis to it, is quite frankly a bunch of hot air.
No,
So
I'll
if
give you an
somebody-
exact example. You can,
Okay,
let
give me a
finish my
specific
sentence.
grievance, and I'll tell you the ones that have been paid by the county. Why do you think the county would pay a grievance that's been filed over seniority? What does that tell you?
That they didn't adhere to your seniority list, and that they
My
called
seniority
somebody
list?
in.
Or they didn't adhere to the contract, AKA they violated the contract, they acknowledged they violated the contract, they acknowledged that they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they paid a claim.
Okay, but let me explain. So what happens is, if you have a seniority list, okay, even in good faith, you have a seniority list, and one time the top guy, he didn't answer his phone, this county went to the second guy, and he worked. The first guy, in this case, files a grievance. What happens in that instance?
When the county says, I called you, and the employee says, oh, no, you didn't, and the county says, I called you, and the employee says, oh, no, you didn't, what do you think we do next? Okay, let's get phone records.
Okay, so.
And this
but-
has happened, this has
okay,
happened.
right. Do
We
you pay,
pull
does
out, we
the,
pull
does
up the employee's phone record, and there's no such incoming call.
okay.
We pull up the county's record, and they show that they made a call. Guess what happens then? Sorry, Doug, you don't get paid, they made a call. Get a new phone carrier, your
Okay.
phone sucks.
So in
So
the
they did
event,
the right thing, they called the
Alright.
employee.
in the
Now,
event
and
that they made a
conversely-
mistake, and they
Conversely,
didn't
if they
call.
didn't call,
Mhm.
and they said they called,
Mhm.
and we say, let me see your phone records, Doug shows a phone record that has no missed calls, and they don't have anything to prove, anything to show, nothing to verify that they actually made a call, guess what happens? Doug gets paid.
Doug gets
This is-
paid, right, so we paid two people. Yeah, how
Because
much
of a
money?
mistake,
I know,
either
but.
through
did-
ignorance or arrogance, or just flat out refusing to abide by the terms of the agreement because someone didn't want to make a phone call. In that particular scenario, and I'm not saying that every single place, every single department, every single job, every single classification has such a scenario where you have to have a call list for an overtime event. In one particular place, they may have it, in another particular place, they may not. So, I would probably give you a little bit more weight to the argument that if it's not working somewhere, if there's a misunderstanding of something, and we're disputing over the interpretation of something, but I don't think you're gonna find that. I think you're gonna find a cultural change that has occurred in Hernando County, and some people that don't want to go along with the program, don't want to abide by the contract, they want to be rogue management people. Those are the ones that, yeah, this grievance is filed against them, and yes, they're gonna have to pay. And they're gonna have to pay for two people because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, which was paying the correct person in the first place. So from time to time, you are gonna have grievances if people don't abide by the contract language. All they're asking for is for a fair system. If the contract is violated, someone's not being treated fairly.
Is that the provision of the Hernando contract that you would say has been the subject of the most grievances there?
I would say probably promotions has been more of an issue in one particular case, which we already discussed in the last bargaining session, actually ended up in court, and the county settled it in a way that leads me to believe that there was an acknowledgement if something happened that probably shouldn't have happened, because otherwise why would they pay all the money that they paid?
So promotions would be the number one cause of grievances and
Correct.
seniority number two?
And I don't want to say grievances, but discussions, and a lot of them have worked out. We just had one in DPW where the manager, which kind of led to the discussion we had yesterday about, again, tweaking the procedure in DPW, because we found that we didn't really account for something, what happens when there's growth, because we haven't had growth in a long time. So when there's growth and there's a new trail maintenance crew being created, how is that addressed? And there's actually some friction between the departments and HR there, okay? Because HR thinks they should be more involved with the recruitment process, and the union's like, yeah, we would say so, we agree. And the department is saying, no, we're gonna do everything in-house by seniority, and for certain applications, the union's saying with the department, yeah, we agree. So, at least there's the ability to talk about things, address things, and come into a meeting of the minds, which we have. So now we have a new understanding of how we're going to fill positions within that department prior to them going out to the outside. And so that's another success story as far as I'm concerned. Did it bruise a few egos where there's some friction between HR and the department, and maybe between HR and the union? I don't think we really didn't have much friction, because we're just like, you guys tell me how, who's going to be the one to sign the document, and we're fine with it. My point is that it's an ongoing process as things come up. We have the ability to sit down and tweak them and to do what the right thing is. It was just treating the employees fair. So,
John, I think you should just give us a minute to let us go over what our wage proposal is. Our wage proposal won't be retro, so I think you should hear what we have to offer on that, what the options are that Barbara has come up before you walk away for the day. At least it'll give you one more thing to think about.
Caucus. We need caucus. Caucus.
Okay.
Can I take 1 minute?
Taking a break at
You-
10:56.
Can you put that, can I give you a prime example?
Do you want to
of-
put this back on?
It's up to you if you want to or not.
Yeah, I don't want it off the record.
Okay. Oh,
You are, John?
If you
Okay.
can
We're
go
back
talk
on.
about seniority favoritism, and you guys can go upstairs and look at the budget for the Wesley Chapel Park. The person who was put in the Wesley Chapel Park installed floors and cabinets. Word on the street is he installed a free set of floors and cabinets in his supervisor's house. That's how.
Serious allegation.
The word on the street, it's not official. But he has cost himself, the county, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 5 years, because he does not know what he's doing, and they have to constantly resod that park every 2 years. Now, whether he installed the floors or not, he had absolutely no experience, had no business being there, but yet he was a buddy of the supervisor. Hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars, and you can look the budget up for the Wesley Chapel Park.
Okay.
Okay, now we're taking a break at 10:57. John, just one copy?
Yeah, just.
On the overtime, right? This was a blank.